Hello, YouTubers. Here, Joe Kersey here, and Paul at 3:45 Eastern Time on Friday, March 14th, 2014. Now, Paul got home from work here a while back, and he's had some news on various levels. One of which is the idea that he's got a week vacation that he has to take for April 21st.
Yeah, for my anniversary of hiring in,
He gets
or I lose it.
he gets 2 weeks a year now, and it was nice of them to tell him about that, because some outfits would not him know. Previously, some outfits would not let him know he had vacation time he had to take.
I knew I had one more week to go, but I just hadn't brought it up to anybody.
Well, you had mentioned to me, and as you pointed out, excuse me, to me earlier in our discussions, excuse me, the previous week you took was in December, and you had engineered it so you got, if you engineer it right with the weekends, as you did, you end up in effect getting
Weekends off and days off.
almost a 2-week vacation anyway, with a 1 week vacation.
Days out of them. Instead of 5.
Yeah, with the weekends and the day, yeah. So he Tom Sawyered that pretty well. Sorry about coughing here, guys. But now it seems today the architects were in for the hotel renovations were in, and Paul had a certain colloquy with them. And what was that about, Paul?
Well, they're doing all the measuring and everything for what is dealing with the facelift, and they're writing out the measurements and everything on the blueprints that they've already drew up. So they've got to send it off to the main people and let them know what they're going to do. And if they buy the idea, yet again, which they've already bought the idea, then they're going to start ripping the place apart. My thought is, if they're going to start within the first couple of weeks of April, I definitely want to have them be out of there for a while. Because I'll be having to chase around after the contractors trying to keep the place swept up, cleaned up, or whatever. Because, they're ripping out all the stone floors and putting in hardwood floors.
Oh. Now, I just read an article in today's Daily Telegraph that said that the wood floors were now becoming very passé. Are these people behind the curve?
I don't know.
You heard it here on the Style Comment First, guys.
If you want to fix the freaking problem about cracked hot stone slabs in the floor, replace the busted stone slab.
Well, you know what they need to do.
Think about it, because of all the salt and water and crap these people track in. Think what that parquet flooring is going to look like.
I have 2 words: furnace tape. Just get some furnace tape and put over those cracks. Actually, as feet scuff over it and it kind of rolls up, and then over time, if you do so like a crisscross, you can sort of build up this great furnace tape layer as a floor covering.
No, there's not going to be any furnace.
Oh, they won't be doing that. They won't be doing that there at the hotel.
No.
Oh.
And then they're going to the dining room.
How sad.
So they're like individual tables going up through the center of the dining room. They're going to do like a elongated common table.
A trough?
Kind of like what you see in what do you call in some sort of a private academy school or something, where they're like they eat at long tables with separate chairs.
Oh, well, yeah. Now, of course, sometimes they're served, or sometimes you go collect and then sit down.
No, they're going to still go and collect their own food and come back. But it's going to be like a elongated center table up through the middle of the dining room instead of all these little square.
Oh, I see. Oh, let me ask you this. Now, do you have, in terms of how they bill people for food, is this...
We don't charge them for anything they eat in the dining room.
Okay, so that's included in their...
Right.
Their
if we
tariff.
pick it, they get it.
Okay. So it's not like you go in and it's not like an a la carte, I pick this out and I pay for it. Okay. Well, that's an interesting idea. I can't say I've ever stayed in a hotel that did that. Although I have an idea that if I did, I would probably, well, except for the couple times I've stayed in embassy suite type hotels, which, as I understand, yours is a member of sort of that general family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I do like those embassy suites.
Yeah, I can get discounts, so.
Well, if we have to ever travel, we can maybe. Well, you can pay extra for the dog. We have a dog at that point.
I can get a room for $50 a night or less.
Oh shit! Yeah. That's almost less than some of these guys on YouTube spend on takeout food. So I mean, we could just sort of stay there forever, couldn't we? Huh?
Some places I only will have to pay around $28 a night. I can get down to $28 a night.
Well, now see, to me that's a more than reasonable price. Now, when I was traveling in the UK with Thomas in '95, we were spending between say $47 and $75 a night, even at modest places, which that was fine. I was well past the sleeping out in the wheat field stage, and I did that the first time around. I wasn't going to do that the fourth time around. So. Well, so now your first past discussion of this with me was that you might take this thing off sort of like the middle of April, but now you were talking about earlier in April. So.
Well, yeah, it's got to be before the 21st.
Oh, no, he has to take this by the 21st, otherwise he loses it.
In by the 21st.
Right. Yeah, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's sort of one of those things, yeah.
Diddy's adamant that I have to go.
Well, and that's nice because a lot of outfits would not tell him about that and just let him lose that benefit, and then he would have worked for them for a week for free or 2 weeks for free, depending on how that worked out.
She told me in front of my supervisor, and
here we go. Yes, this is what I want.
My supervisor said,
get.
"Well, I will pick a week for him to when it would be available for him to go." And Dee said, the GM said, no, it doesn't work that way. The employee picks when they go.
Well, that's very interesting because a lot of times that isn't how it works, but that's nice that it does work that way for y'all. And it's interesting that it also happened in the context of your immediate supervisor who, now on the other hand, that's a two-edged sword because that means she's going to be pissed off, and she's a very dangerous woman because she's a stupid woman, and when stupid people get pissed off, they're very dangerous. Enough said, guys.
Yeah, well, her boss told her that she cannot pick the time for me to go.
Well, yeah, but that's true. That might have some self-survival techniques kick on her. But you can, given what you've told me about this other individual, I have a feeling that a clean off of your rear view lenses attached to your eyeballs are very much in order on that. Well, good. Paul's home safely. God bless him.
Wendy and I run the housekeeping department, and then he went back up north. So then when they first brought this Tom guy in, he got rid of him. He didn't like him for some reason. He got rid of this guy. Because he told him every day, because they yak on their email and stuff, and he told him he thinks he was totally unjustly fired. And they had no right to get rid of him for what they said. They're always wanting me to suck him up and kill him and everything. Well, when he was there, he wanted me to capture him and take him back outside and set him free.
Paul's talking about ladybugs right now, guys.
I mean, he wanted me to actually chase around after ladybugs in a stairwell.
Why don't you walk over here
in
just
a hallway. Chase around after ladybugs in a stairwell and in a hallway. Capture them live and take them outside and set them free.
Well, hell, that's what you do with these Malaysian shield bugs. You're forever wandering around the house, putting these guys in your hands and throwing them outside.
Yeah, they incident.
I'd throw them in an acid bath.
They instantly freeze to death when you chuck them up.
Yeah, I don't think so, because, they...
Hey, I'm feeding the rent. Live bait.
Well, no, that's great. Well, no, that's wonderful. The rent, that's wonderful. I mean, I think that's... see, now, Paul points out an excellent point about the idea that you feed the rent.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm an absolute fan of wrens.
There's a wren that'll stand there at that back door in the morning and watch me and look for me to open the door and throw somebody out the back door.
Very good.
So they can have breakfast.
Go
there.
Go wren.
That's why they go out the door.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. Do they eat toenails too?
I don't think wrens eat toenails.
I don't know. What the hell you pick up in the morning? You pick up all sorts of stuff.
It's that grit off of the front porch.
Oh, I
so
see.
We don't fall and bust their ass.
Okay. Look at that, guys. Look at that. That's a leaf in my wine glass. Diluted wine glass. Out here on the deck. And it's very windy today. And and there it is. Now, as you've gathered, here it's 56 degrees. Yeah, it's 56 degrees. Paul and I have been inside discussing things. And we've been reminiscing a bit. I've been having a bit of a squall about the various dogs, as I do whenever I talk about the various dogs. And see, I shouldn't have said that, should I? it's just so beautiful here. It really is. The pressure's dropping a bit. I don't think we're going to get much of a storm here, but that's all part of something that's much, much larger going to the north of us. Now you can look over at the sycamores and you can see that the seed pods that are going to be the cotton seeds here are getting ready to release. Well, they're swelling up. They're going to release soon, but they're going to swell. They're swelling up. That's good. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. I was looking at eminent domain issues today in the Farm Bureau website. They sent me some stuff, and they're basically saying even if you're going to have a well-known quick taking, you need to get an attorney and an independent appraisal and all this stuff. And I, you know, the only experience I've ever had with appraisals is that this kind of charlatan that my sister and brother-in-law employed. Involving the Warren County property that I half inherited from my mother's estate. This guy just sort of presented me with a poof, you know, an unsigned affidavit. Well, no, it was a signed affidavit. He wanted me just, you know, it was a wow, what an unethical action, and it just ended up my doorstep, and I read through the materials, and it was very clear that what was going to happen was, you know, as soon as maximal economic extraction had occurred, then there would be a settlement. And I don't know what exactly happened, but given the time frame from checking the various websites about the court dockets, I think that's what happened. Is, you know, it went on for 36 months, and then when the guy had, you know, gotten the difference between the difference in what he could negotiate and the various prices, then that was that. So it was a break-even point. On the other hand, I didn't, you know, since I didn't have any enough money to help finance this little lawsuit, I didn't participate. I hope it made them happy. I do. I say that seriously. I know I sound sarcastic. No. If you're so attached to something that some object that makes you that happy, I hope whatever legal action you took to try to hold on to it made you happy. If that means you estrange yourself from your family, your brother, you know, other human relationships, you know, hold yourself in thrall to someone else that holds you in power, then just go for it. If that's what makes you happy. I am all for human happiness. I am all for human happiness. I am. I know I sound sarcastic, but I'm not being sarcastic. Be happy. It's all just stuff, guys. It's all just stuff. What matters is, can you live in a place that God has allotted to you and be happy therein? Now, guess we'll find out, won't we, here? I will say that the Farm Bureau advised me that the very moment notice of eminent domain action on my land, which I know will happen. They've told me that. I must immediately engage an attorney and get an independent appraisal. Now, I've dealt with these independent appraisers, and I'll tell you, if you want to have a high school education and make a large amount of money, if you don't want to go to college, you want to make a large amount of money, become a real estate appraiser. Assuming you are just a notch above submoronic, you can do this. And you can charge, depending on the state in which you are practicing, you can charge huge amounts of percentages of what you and what you appraise the property as. That's very, very difficult construct, but I think that's correct. But correct me if I'm wrong. It's another Jobs for the Boys program, isn't it? It's like, oh, well, you need to get an independent appraiser. Well, an independent appraiser is somebody that goes and checks the same things that the other guy that was an appraiser checked, and then says, oh, well, well, that's like, oh, I touch a different part of my penis and it feels better. Therefore, you should all do it that way. Not to be too crude about it, but that's the same class of discussion. Well, Paul seems to have fled inside. God bless him. He was elaborating a lot more hotel things, but I think perhaps that's more of a, what do they call that? Proprietary situation. Well, on that note, I think I'm gonna let you look at a little bit of this fine thing. Now it's gonna be a lot of wind probably whooshing around, but we'll see here. That's wonderful. It really is. It's very nice. I pray the good Lord these bastards don't take it from me. We'll see though, won't we, huh? Alrighty. Bye-bye now.